Hi guys, Ronnie here. Recently I got a lot of requests about frame sizing and how to choose your correct frame size, and I find that many people actually find this quite difficult, even though it's very simple. You just need to pay attention to some specifications and details and adhere to some principles that I'm going to show you in this video. So to get a first example, let's say we are choosing a bike. We never had a bike before, and we know we want an aero bike. So the best option probably nowadays is a Trek Model 9. This is the H1 aggressive geometry. We want to go racing, so we choose that. Most manufacturers do have a size chart, and we can find that on the Trek website over here. So I'm 172 centimeters tall. That means I'm exactly in the middle of the range, and I should get a size 54. No discussion there. Now many riders fall into the in-between categories. So as you can see, there is some overlap between two neighboring frame sizes. What should you do then? Okay, so let's say I'm not 172, I'm 169. So this way I fit in both the 54 and the 52 centimeter frame. Which one should I choose? If I'm very flexible and want a super aggressive position, I go for the smaller frame size. This means that on a smaller frame I will have a shorter seat tube, so more seat post exposed for the same seat height, and the smaller frame also is going to have a smaller head tube, so lower stack. I'm going to have more drop for the same seat height and handlebar position when fully slammed. Another difference is perhaps the added seat post is going to flex more, so I could have more comfort. On the other hand, I'm going to use a longer stem in order to compensate the difference between the reach difference in the two frame sizes, which I can calculate based on the stack and reach numbers themselves. And one thing I can encounter is some toe overlap. This happens on some smaller more race-oriented frames with tight geometry and tight wheelbases, but it isn't really an issue unless you're riding very slowly at the junction. But even then, if you pay a bit of attention, it can be easy to avoid. This is why many people, many pros do tend to size their frames down in order to get a more aggressive position. If you are happy with a not so aggressive position, then choose the larger frame size. So this applies for road bikes mainly. In mountain bikes, I think it should be the opposite. If you are between two frame sizes, then you should go for the larger one. That way you get a longer front center, and you can put on a shorter stem, so you will have better stability and handling. Okay, this was the most basic type of fit, or the basic type of decision based on the size chart. Now what if we need a bike that has roughly the same amount of sizes, but the manufacturer doesn't specify height range for your frame size? What you should do then is to find a frame that has a similar category. So if you want an aero road frame, then look at another aero road frame. In this example, I'm going to select a 3T Strada, which, as you can see, doesn't have a recommended height, but does have stack and reach numbers. So if you look at the Madone, we can see that 54 will suit me. If you look at the reach and stack numbers, 39, 53.1, and then look at the 3T frame numbers, we can see that the size medium is going to be very, very similar to that. So this will probably be the best size. Now the stack is a fair amount shorter on the 3T, whereas a size large would be more close, but then we have much more stack. So stack wise, the medium is better, reach wise, the large is better. So which one do we choose? Well, the thing is that the large one has more stack than what we want, and you can't remove really any kind of stack from the frame itself unless you use a super negative stem. So the best way would be to get a size medium and to compensate for the shorter reach with a longer stem, which can be easily done. If you are looking for a very specific position, then you will need to consider some other things as well. So the manufacturer gives you the frame reach and the frame stack, which are the only two things that you are really going to need in terms of bike fit. But the problem is that if you want to transfer that or your fit from one bike to another, you need the total reach and the total stack that you get with the frame and the headset and the stem all installed and creating one system. So how do you do that? Well, I was a bit curious, and this might be a bit over the top, but based on some simple trigonometry, you can really calculate your total reach and total stack basically down to the millimeter. Whether that will matter to you or not, I don't know, but it can be done, and I'm going to show you here on this picture. I will try to illustrate everything you need to know. So we have some things from the manufacturer and the geometry chart. So we have the head angle, which I call here alpha. I have the stem angle that you might want to use, so this is beta. From this we can calculate the effective stem angle, which I will explain in a minute. This will be called gamma here. We have the frame stack and frame reach, that's a given. Then we add headset stack to that. We also have stem length, which is also a given. From that we are going to calculate stem reach and stem stack. And if we have all these, then we can calculate all our total reach and total stack with the stem on and with the headset on. Now there is one more variable, and that is the handlebar. And depending on the tilt of the handlebar, you can get an extreme amount of variability there. But if you put the same handlebar in the same position, in terms of total stack and total reach based on this calculation, then you can still have pretty much the exact same position on any kind of bike. Okay, so you can look into the illustration I have here. It's a bit complicated at first glance. The reality is we need to find the effective stem angle to be able to calculate and transfer these all to the x and y axes, which are our frame stack and reach measurements. So the gamma angle turns out to be 90 degrees minus alpha, which is our head angle, and plus or minus beta, or the stem angle, depending on which way your stem is pointing. So we have this angle now. What we need to do is now calculate where does our stem put us in terms of stack and reach. So these are the calculations in the second point. And finally, we need to also consider the stack of the headset and also the stack of the stem mounting itself. And I do this by measuring the headset, the dust covers, the spaces you might have underneath there, and on the stem this goes up to pretty much the midway point or the center of where the handlebar is clamped. So up until that is all headset stack. And you add and subtract these to get the total reach and total stack numbers. This way you have basically the stack and the reach you need to the millimeter, and you can transfer these from bike to bike. Again, on a time trial bike, this will not, the stem isn't really that important, but you can apply the same principle to pad reach and pad stack. Of course, on a time trial bike you can achieve these in different manners. Finally, I would like to point out that the information found in this video will not replace a proper professional bike fit, but it can get you pretty close. Now, if you'd like to see more of my tech tips on bikes or some of my bike builds, then don't forget to tune into my channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.